Okie dokie! Look at us! Are you ready?
I couldn't be more ready if I tried.
Well, maybe you should have tried.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, it's time. The last Q&A was about Hulk Hogan, so we'll go with his very good running buddy apparently now. Somehow they became like best chums, and I don't think it's just on TV either, apparently. They love each other. It's a bromance for the ages.
I guess when you get older, the heart gets fonder.
Apparently, because this is all about Sting. And
Steve Borden, all right.
you know, it's funny, too. I was at work today and, you know, doing things that I shouldn't have been. In this case, what I was doing when I should have been working was I found this clip. It was like a debut promo that had Jim Hellwig and Steve Borden. Just as Jim Hellwig and Steve Borden. And there's Jim Hellwig being modest. And Steve Borden being modest. And it's just, you look back at that, that's almost 30 years ago, and you just see what happened with the two of them, and it's something. I was kind of surprised there weren't more Blade Runner questions, more questions about him and Warrior.
Thank God there wasn't.
Come on. So anyways, this is all about Sting. We're going to get started now. At W. Rain Foster, what are your guys' thoughts on the video explaining why Sting didn't join WWE, and do you agree with him? You're, of course, referencing when he was talking about how Booker T was kind of treated on TV by The Rock and saying, who in the hell are you? Do you agree with them saying that was kind of why he said, I don't really want to know?
No, I think part of Sting's big deal is that he's always wanted to be the big fish in a small pond. And being that guy for a company rather than going to a bigger company and being just another guy.
Or being a big fish in not as big fish in a bigger pond, right? I kind of get some of what he's saying. I think it also ties into what he doesn't want to talk about, things like the road schedule and how many dates he would have to work, things that he never had to really worry about with WCW.
Well, and you know, as a Reformed Christian, you know, certain things that he could do and couldn't do with, you know, especially the Attitude Era and
right.
Those sort of things will play into effect.
Even though some of his TNA crap over the last couple of years, you question the Christianity of that. Anyways, Real Benzinian, what do you think is the worst feature part of the gimmick that Sting has in TNA? Well, which one?
Yeah, which gimmick?
You know, when he was sitting there, I remember, what was that after? Was it after Bound for Glory 2010 when they came? And Dixie's calling him Steve and not Sting. I thought that was pretty stupid. Well, which one is he? Is he Steve or is he Sting? But the Joker crap, I always thought was stupid because, you know, wow, he was trying to be a babyface, trying to be Heath Ledger's Joker.
He's a late 40s-year-old guy that's trying to
early
act,
50s.
You know, well, back then.
Still early 50s.
Okay.
He's 54 this year. So
trying to act like a kid, and trying to act psychotic. You know, 50-year-old men who act weird and fucking crazy are put away in jail.
Next question. At DBetos87, how would you have booked Sting and Taker at WrestleMania 27? Very simple. I'd have brought Taker in pretty much the way that they did, and then had him sit there and, you know, maybe he comes on TV for a couple weeks and he's looking for somebody to face him at Mania. Maybe even a couple of people step up to the plate and he says they're not worthy. Or he asks a couple of people and they say no. And then all of a sudden, maybe with 2 weeks to go before Mania, you get that last, like, big-time rush heading into the Mania pay-per-view. And all of a sudden, the lights go out. It's at the very end of the show. And all of a sudden, there's Sting up in the rafters pointing his baseball bat, pointing at Mania.
And there's so many things you could have done with that, with the vignettes. You could have had a gravestone with the crow on it. You could have had so many different opportunities to do things, but ultimately, in my mind of minds, I would have liked to have seen Surfer Sting come out.
Oh, man, that would have almost been better. But if you did Crow Sting versus Dark Taker, I think that's one of those big money matches.
Yeah, but like White Crow Sting rather than the Red Crow Sting.
Yes, White Crow Sting.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
There's so many stupid gimmicks. Just fucking, I hate this.
And you used to love Sting.
Yeah, Surfer Sting was fucking rad.
At Ben_Allen311, who of the current full-time roster would you like to see Sting of WWE? Would you like to see Sting go against? Full-time, not part-time.
Nowadays, I would hate to see him on the product. He's so out of shape and old and weird.
I don't think, if I had to choose one, maybe CM Punk, because maybe Punk could take him to a passable match. I think Punk would be a good enough ring general to get a
if you're gonna go
match. Or
kinda,
Triple H.
No, I was gonna say Jericho. But
that'd be the other one.
Kind of my default answer to most of these questions is Jericho because he works well with so many different types of people.
At Javier Ortabo, how long ago should Sting have stopped before being a full-time competitor in TNA? Probably 2 or 3 years ago. When he turned 50.
As soon as its inception started.
Oh, fuck. At Disco Ben, what's Sting's best moment? If I had to choose one best moment, was probably the first Clash of the Champions when he went 45 minutes with Flair.
With Flair, yeah.
It's probably his best match, and it's probably his best moment. I mean, that's a pretty
and one of the
deal.
best for Flair, too.
Absolutely. Where does Sting rank on your all-time list? Ooh.
Well,
Is he in the 15 to 25 all-time ballpark?
Let me check. Let's see. Bret Hart says, not in the top 1,000. I'll go with that. No. Top 20, yes.
Somewhere between 15 to 25 without spending too much time to overanalyze it. At X Little Nick 365, do you think Sting should have retired after Bound for Glory last year? Yes, if he didn't beforehand. At Bavcina 66, do you think once Sting's Crow character talked that it ruined him and his mystique?
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
There are certain characters I don't think that should ever talk. And when they do, it always hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one example.
See also Kane.
You could argue to a degree, see also early years of Taker. Yeah, let's not even get with the Kane stuff. What happened to him speaking with a voice box? At Bavcina 66, or excuse me, at Blue Goblin 01, I'm getting all fucked up here. What do you consider to be Sting's best match? Probably the one in Clash of the Champions one against Flair.
It was one of Flair's best, too.
Yeah, I think so. Would Brett at least agree with that one?
Maybe.
Would he give it 3 stars?
Maybe.
At Bill Green 713, how would you have booked the main event of Starrcade of 97, and where would you have gone from there? Which kind of leads into Jake B 253's question from the Trio Woe show, who wants to be like me but loves Daniel Bryan. How would you have booked Starrcade 97? Was there a better character than Sting then? For your part, I'll answer first. Was there a better character than Sting in terms of a singular character for WCW 97? No, because Goldberg was just starting. Goldberg, what had been started in 97, was really started going a lot stronger in 98. Sting was the best thing going for WCW in terms of an individual character, even better than NWO. How would I have booked the main event of Starrcade 97? Sting versus Hogan was fine. I have no problem with Sting versus Hogan. That was the match that you were building up to for a year. You made that monster. I'm either doing one of two things. I'm either getting Bret Hart involved by literally screwing over Hogan and not as a referee, or I'm keeping Bret out of it. I'm keeping everybody else out of it, and I'm just going to have it be Icon versus Icon one-on-one because you needed that, and we didn't get that. There are many things I would have done, but basically anything other than what happened. At Base 24, do you guys think Sting would have done well if he joined WWE during the Invasion storyline?
Yeah, because I mean that whole storyline was kind of jank from the get-go. Maybe he could have helped.
Oh, I think he would have helped tremendously.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The whole storyline was, it just lacked something.
It lacked the people that represented WCW the most. How are you going to do an invasion angle and you don't have all the top guys involved, like the Stings, the NWOs, the Lugers, the Macho Mans? You have none of these guys, Flair, Bischoff. You have none of these fucking guys involved. Would Sting have helped? Tremendously. Because at that time, you still could have sent him at Austin, Rock, Triple H, Taker, Kane, Jericho. You could have sent him. You could have done 1.5 to 2 years worth of business for Sting and only had him work 5 or 6 feet.
Well, and I think along with that, if you'd have gotten Sting involved, you probably would have gotten some other guys involved because he was kind of the last guy to stand back. And who would have known who to jump ship?
Imagine, and I will even say it to this day, might not be to the same degree, but if you ever heard that Sting was going to be announced to appear on a WWE program, it would be a highly rated segment. It would be easily one of the higher rated segments they've had in years. No question. Because everybody would be like, Sting in a WWE ring, something I literally thought I would never see. But imagine that in 2001, in 2002. How incredible that would have been. Something else that we were
on the same token, how maybe not earth-shattering would it be today, 12 years later?
It wouldn't be the same, but like I said, I do think it would still have an impact for like 1 week, as opposed to having a 6, 12, 18-month impact on the product. At Nathan GT 1997, do you think Sting was the right person to be the first inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame? No, I think it should have been AJ Styles. Frankly, this is the only time you'll ever hear me say it. I think the founder had more right being the first inductee just because he was the founder of the company.
What was that guy's name?
That would be Jerry Jarrett.
No, he just bankrolled it.
Fuck you. But AJ Styles would have been my choice because I would have been like, what great marquee appeal for the next 5, 7, 8 years. You could be like, TNA Hall of Famer, AJ Styles. We're not just saying he's a Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer. He is the man. He is our franchise piece. He's been there since day one. I think that's something that people in the locker room would have respected. Fans would have respected. He would have appreciated.
And I don't watch TNA very much, hardly at all anymore, but I can't expect to think that AJ Styles is big now. He's just another guy.
They're trying to do some stuff with him, but imagine if you said, our first Hall of Famer.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. At Not So Smart Marks, like your name. Should Sting have been the first inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame over JJ or AJ Styles? We kind of answered that already. Sting or RoboCop? Oh, God.
RoboCop! Nothing in this world tops RoboCop.
Would Steven Seagal?
RoboCop would probably beat Steven Seagal.
Really?
Yeah.
But you'd like to see the fight.
Yes, absolutely.
You would.
RoboCop should be in the next Expendables movie.
RoboCop should be at a future pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. All of us that are 30 and older would fucking mark out for like 2 seconds. At Ransu22, do you guys think Joker Sting would have worked better if he debuted the gimmick and used it as a heel? Yes.
Yeah.
I think
earlier in his life.
Well, but if he was going to use that Heath Ledger Joker, like, you know, a lot of it was he's ripping off the Joker gimmick and da. Well, a lot of things, it's art imitating other forms of art and ripping it off sometimes, but it could have worked. I mean, Sting has great range as a performer. I think he does. And one thing he does have is a lot of charisma. That's one thing you can't deny about Sting. He has the ability to connect with people. He has a lot of charisma. But as a heel, that would have worked a whole lot better because he could have just been a sick, twisted fuck. I would have liked it. But no, he had to be a babyface. He's walking around with a suit and walking around with a bird and putting it on the desk in front of Eric Bischoff and going, I'm the TV executive and all this other dumb shit. At _Ruck Fools _. This one's almost done, Tony. Last question. Do you think Sting should have ever went to WWE? And if so, what would have been the best time? Do you respect him more? Or do you resent him a little bit for never going to WWE?
I as a WWF fan, would have liked to, and especially as a Sting fan too, I watched WCW back in the day. You know, I would have loved to have seen him jump ship and go to the big show. And where I think he would have fit in best, you know, maybe that time where Hart had the belt, where they were lacking that huge guy, and Bret Hart had to take the belt and kind of carry it until Shawn was ready. There could have been huge matches with Bret and Sting.
Imagine 95, 96 if you've got Sting there wrestling people like Diesel. Now, you would say, well, Sting was babyface. Oh, you could have kept him babyface. You would have just had a lot of monster babyface matches, but I think it would have worked. But yeah, other than that, if it wasn't that time where they could have used the star power, I would say in the invasion angle. Imagine WrestleMania 17, the main event, where you've got Austin versus Rock, and all of a sudden, out of the crowd comes, you could do Surfer Sting, or I probably in that case would do Crow Sting. Imagine if Crow Sting just comes out and he interferes in the match and fucks up the main event of WrestleMania. Something we've never really seen happen. We've seen run-ins and we've seen some other screwy shit, but we've never seen like a fully screwed up, you know, this is some crazy shit WrestleMania finish in my opinion. WrestleMania 8 doesn't count. And neither does WrestleMania 17. That would have been awesome. The next Q&A, go to Twitter, submit your questions to @OffTheRopeShow, and the subject is going to be #Smokey. It seems like the people really wanted it, so they're going to get it.
I don't know that Smokey wants it, but I guess.
He's going to give it to him anyways. He's a man of the people.